Welcome back to Ancient Domains of Mystery. Today we're going to be playing a character that was requested as part of our Creators Day Challenge. This character was requested by Avihu Shaban, and he requested our Mist Elf Merchant. Now, for those who don't know, our Creators Day Challenge was done on Creators Day, a day in ADOM, where if you create a character, that character will start with the Lucky and Fate Smiles intrinsics. So what I did was record a video of me generating characters. I posted that onto YouTube and asked for people to indicate to me which characters they would like to see me play. Again, Avihu Shaban requested that we play the Mist Elfin Merchant. Before the Mist Elfin Merchant, we played a Hearthling Farmer, which was requested by Adam Gerzib. Hope I'm getting the pronunciation right. And I actually want to do a shout out to Adam because he is currently doing a run through of his own with a Hearthling Farmer. His Hearthling Farmer was not created on Creators Day, so he will have a slight disadvantage. But what he's doing is he wants to see that he can keep the character alive longer than I did. I actually think the fact that his character was not created on Creators Day is a fair handicap for me, since Adam, from my understanding, is significantly more familiar with the game than I am. So I'm going to post a link to his channel down below. Y'all should go check that out. I think it'll be a great playthrough. But as for us, let's go ahead and get MeMe, a female level 1 Mist Elfin Merchant, up and going. Alright. There we are. Beautiful white hair. Let's check out our inventory. I have not checked the inventory on these characters, so this is going to be a total surprise for me. Inventory is very important with merchants. If you start with a good inventory, you might do okay. You start with a terrible inventory, oh, you're messed up. Okay. So let's check our equipment first. We're wearing crappy clothes, crappy gloves, really not that good leather boots, and we're carrying a mithril short sword. One of the disadvantages of elves is they cannot equip most metal items because it will start burning their skin. So if you equip, for instance, a cursed iron sword, you're going to be taking damage every turn until you die. It's a bad deal. They can't equip mithril, adamantium, eternium, and crystal. So those are the things we're going to look out for. I'm torn on unequipping these right now, because if you unequip all your armor, your character will go into what's called True Berserk mode, and in True Berserk mode, your character will do extra damage, but of course then you don't have any armor. And Mist Elves have exceptionally low hit points, so usually if you start with bad armor at the beginning of the game, you would go ahead and unequip all that armor, but in this case she may need it. I'll ponder that as we look at the rest of our inventory. Let's see what we've got. We have a Ring of the Fish, Ring of Acid Resistance, Ring of Cold Resistance, Ring of Mental Stability. Very nice. Very nice, and that offers a great armor bonus. 2 Rings of Cold Resistance, a Ring of Fire Resistance, very good, an extra Ring of the Fish. Okay. Iron Ration, and a lot of gold. So here's something a more experienced ADOM player would do better than me. The rings are made out of different materials. I believe, for instance, the Ring of Fire Resistance is made of wood, so we could wear that. But as for the other rings, they may be made out of the so-called lower metals, which means we put them on, they might start burning us. And since we don't know their status, they could be cursed, and then that would, well, with only 9 hit points, that would quickly kill our character. So I'm apprehensive about equipping any of these. I would really love to equip one of those Rings of the Fish. Well, no, I'm thinking Druids. I would not equip the Ring of the Fish, because with the Ring of the Fish you can go to the zone my last character died in, well, character before last died in, which is an underwater cave. You go down the underwater cave, you do a quest, and you get a very, very powerful artifact weapon. The area is easy for druids, usually. My last one died there. Usually easy for druids, because most of the monsters in that area will not attack a druid. But since we're a merchant, everything in there will attack us, and we will quickly die. The Ring of the Fish, when you equip it, it auto-curses. So you have to have a way to uncurse it, or bless it. Then, when you are wearing it, your character can breathe water, so you don't drown, and thus can go into an underwater cave. Okay. But yes, I'm not going to blindly equip any of that. So, with this armor, we have a 3 DV, a 0 PV. I think we're going to stick with that for now. Now, my usual game plan at this point would be to go get a first kill, grab the quest from Trinio, and then go straight into the small cave, which takes us to High Mountain Village. Now, in Small Cave, as some of you may remember, the monsters that spawn in Small Cave are equal to twice your level. So if you go in there at level 1, they spawn at level 2. However, if you go in there at level 5, they spawn at level 10. The difficulty increases the higher your level is. So I would normally run it at very low level, but this guy, I don't think he can handle it. So we're going to go get our first kill. We're going to go into the small cave and get all the monsters to spawn at level 2. We're going to leave the small cave. We're going to build up some levels doing some other quests. Then we'll probably go back to the small cave and try to sneak through it before any new monsters spawn. But let's go ahead and hit the starter dungeon. Alright. There's an orc. He would be a pretty good first kill. But let's poke around a little bit first. That is a rat. Can we run away from the rat? Yes. I think I'd prefer to have an orc as my first kill. Yes, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to try a new trick today. Instead of renaming my character with the name of our first kill, which I do to remember it since there are 2 different quests in the game that depend on your first kill. And they're not totally mutually exclusive, but pretty close. Because one of them, the more you kill of your first kill, the more difficult that quest gets, to the point of it becoming almost impossible. The other one, you have to get a certain number of your first kill to complete that quest. So it's difficult to balance those against each other. With an orc, we're not going to mess with the one that scales and gets more difficult with the more orcs we kill. And it's irrelevant to character anyway, because you would only do that quest if you were going for what's called an ultra ending, which is a very hard special ending, and we're not doing that. Heck, I've only won the game once with a standard ending. Okay. So, let's go back up the stairs. Let's look at our skills. We have alertness, which is great. Appraising can be useful. Climbing, we'll need to raise that. Concentration, we'll need to raise that. Detect item status is useful during the early game, not so much later on. Dodge is very useful. First aid is very useful during the early game. Gemology, usually not very useful, but there are certain specific situations you can use it in. The thing with gemology is anytime a monster digs on a level, so not just when you dig, but anytime a monster digs, gemology will determine the odds that a gem will spawn. So you can go into an area with a lot of monsters that dig, and if you have a high gemology skill, they'll dig out the whole level and leave a boatload of gems behind, which you can then sell or sacrifice. Haggling is pretty much worthless. Herbalism is important. Listening is semi-important. Literacy is very important. Metallurgy doesn't matter for us. Well, I don't know. If I was able to reference the wiki, metallurgy would not matter, because normally while I'm playing, especially if I'm playing an elf, I'll go reference the ADOM wiki and look what the material is that composes the item. So if I have a ring, I'll go look up if it's iron, or mithril or what it is, and then I'll know if I can equip it or not. But I don't like using the wiki when I'm recording because it's too difficult to switch back and forth and cut the video. So metallurgy in this case might be useful. I've never used it before, honestly, but we might be able to use it to figure out if we can equip certain items. Yeah, so Mist Elves always start with necromancy, but it's a special form of necromancy where instead of raising dead, you make constructs. So if you find clay, you can turn that clay into a construct. Thing about necromancy that confuses some people is every time you use necromancy, it permanently reduces your mana by a little bit, and people are like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't use necromancy because it's reducing your mana. Except, necromancy actually trains your mana stat, meaning if you use it enough time, the mana stat increases, and you actually get more mana points back out of it than you lost. So pickpockets can be useful, especially if you're willing to play chaotic. Stealth, it can be useful in certain situations, especially if you get invisibility. Survival, usually not useful for me because I play druids, who pretty much all the benefits that you get from survival a druid already has. With Smith Stealth, we might want to raise survival just so we have a higher chance of running for random encounters, because until we get our hit points up, random encounters are very dangerous. So, yeah. But what this tells me is, since we have herbalism, which we would get from the druid quest, but we don't have healing, that means we either have to take the Crime Lord quest or we have to take the Village Elder quest. Because the Village Elder quest, you can learn both the healing skill and the bridge building skill. The Crime Lord quest, you just learn the healing skill. And then the Druid quest, for most characters, Druids actually get additional bonuses, but for most characters, the Druid quest will teach your character herbalism. We already have herbalism, so we need healing. And we don't want to be chaotic, so we're not going to take the Crime Lord quest. And here's a little girl. She's going to send us on a quest to get her puppy. That quest is timed, but I almost always die with it, so we're not pursuing it, at least not until later in the game. If you pass the time limit, you can still complete the quest. It's just, you don't technically fail it, but you fail it because you're supposed to be saving her puppy dog, and after a certain number of days, her puppy dog is assuredly dead. Let's take the Village Elder quest. I want to find Bluff the Baby Water Dragon, talk to him so I can let his mother know where he is eventually. Poor little lost dragon. While I'm looking, I've changed how I have my microphone rigged up, so if someone wants to put in the comments if this sounds better or worse, I will use that feedback to determine if I keep using my microphone like this. Let's talk to the Baby Water Dragon. He's looking for his mommy. Okay. Let's come in here. We're going to restack all this stuff. There you go. How's our dexterity? Your dexterity's okay. Now, the reason we're restacking this is the shops, the odds of them restocking is determined by how much of their floor space is covered. So if you restack everything into one stack, it encourages them to restock. And yes, I do go over this material in every video. Okay, so next we're going to figure out our rations. Now notice that because we had the detect item status skill going, it actually detected the status of one of these rations. But we'll figure out what the others are real quick. You can see these two rations. One of these rations is worth more than one of these rations, which means these are better than uncursed, which means they must be blessed. And we see that these are the cheapest per unit, so they must be cursed. I think. Hold on, I may have just done this wrong. Because there's 4 stacks of here, but there's only 3 ID states, so I'm thinking these are both uncursed. Yeah, okay. So A is cursed. B is uncursed. Okay. So we have a bunch of money, so let's go ahead and take some food with us. Plus that'll train our strength to be somewhat overburdened for a while. Actually, I may buy the blessed ones. How much does that bring us up to? Okay. We have a phenomenal carrying capacity, probably because we're a merchant. Okay. Should be enough food for right now. Well, we're going to pick up another one and eat it. Or let's pick up another one and eat it. Yeah, that's fine. Guys, excuse me, I'm a little bit tired this evening. I was just taking a break from work and then I gotta get back to it. Kinda lame, but I want to get something done by tomorrow. Okay, so this is the small cave. We are going to go in it and let the monsters spawn, but we are not going to get into any fights. We're going to chill for a few turns so we make sure all the monsters spawn in. Okay, so this scroll reads 138 paces away. That means the item that always spawns this dungeon, which is a waterproof blanket that protects your inventory against water damage, is 138 paces away. So, oh, I actually moved. I didn't mean to move. It's probably somewhere in here. Okay. Of course, we would need that before we went into the underwater cave as well, because we wouldn't want our inventory to fall apart. Let's read the other scroll. Time is working against you. That's alluding to the fact that the monsters spawn at double your level, so the more time you spend a little grinding, the harder this dungeon gets. Those scrolls, if you leave this dungeon and try to read them outside the dungeon, they don't have anything written on them. They only work if you read them in this dungeon, which is interesting. So I have a feeling that everything has spawned in. So let's leave. Okay, we ran away. Let's go to the Outlaw Village and just see what items are for sale. This is a little dangerous. I don't want to get into a fight with an outlaw with as few hit points as we have, but I do want to see what's for sale. Mostly because if you find an item for sale, what did I just pick up? Oh, it's Death Scope. Pick an item. If you look at an item that's for sale, oh my gosh, 7 league boots. It's one of the best items in the game. 7 league boots drastically increase your speed so that you can run away from dangerous situations. They're amazing. Okay. Well, that's great. But anyway, as I was saying, you come in here, and if you are in a shop, the items are usually identified. And if you look at the item, your character will then know what that item looks like. So if it encounters it in a dungeon, it'll know what the item is. So, yes, when we can, we're almost assuredly going to buy 7 league boots. Either that or steal them. Boom. Take a wedding ring for later. We'll set these aside because they might be useful. This is very, very important. Early in the game, it's desperately important that your character find out what a scroll of identify looks like. Because in order to find out what other items do, you have to be able to find scrolls of identify. And if you don't know what a scroll of identify looks like, you don't know which scroll to read. One of my other characters, I played until the mid-game without finding out what a scroll of identify was. And finally, I just ended up having to read random scrolls until I found one. It was pretty bad. Luckily, scrolls of identify are very common, so if you do end up with a large number of scrolls in your inventory, you just have to read the ones that you have a lot of, and it should turn up. Let me double check. Okay. Put this in this pile here. Have to remember those 7 league boots are there. Now let's try to slip out of town without getting attacked. There we go. Back up to the starter dungeon. The puppy cave spawned. We're not going to go there. Oh, wow, we can kill a rat. Isn't that great? Oh, I wanted to try something. Let's apply metallurgy to these rings. Made from metal. It doesn't tell us what kind of metal. Cold resist is made from something other than metal. I think the higher level we have in that skill, the more information it gives us about what kind of metal. So it might, at a higher level, say, well, this ring is made out of mithril or adamantium or iron, etc. Okay, so I do want to mark the ring of cold is not metal, so we can safely wear it. Put metal question mark on these since we don't know what kind of metal. I think this also trains the metallurgy skill the more we do this, so it's worthwhile to go through your inventory and do this. I don't know that fact, but it's my guess. Because I know what the Ring of Fire Resistance is made out of. And just for training purposes, I'll apply metallurgy to Ring of the Fish, because we already know what it is, but why not? Okay. I'll read more about that skill here in a while. I'm going to kick this guy getting angry because I want him to throw rocks at me, so that I can collect them and throw them back at other monsters. Every time I go throwing more rocks, you die. It's really bad when a goblin rock thrower is able to hurt you with a punch. That's really pretty pathetic. Be very careful. One good trap and we're dead. It would have been awesome if this character started with a ring of Djinni summoning. Do we have food preservation? No. I don't even know if that's possible. Ring of Djinni summoning, if you get it, it allows you to summon a genie that gives you one wish. And you can type in the name of virtually any non-artifact item in the game, and also certain other things like ask for a companion, etc. And the game will give it to you. Very cool. Well, that's dangerous. It's a chaotically aligned altar that any monster can sacrifice us on. I'm gonna anger this guy so we can get arrows from him. I'm gonna get away from that altar. I think it trains our dodge to have arrows shot at us. Okay, let's get some of these arrows. I should get a little low on hit points here. Very flimsy character. The thing about most forms of elves, and I think mist elves especially, is they start off very, very frail, but as the game progresses, they become extremely powerful. Wow, we just had trouble fighting a bat. We can take our time, though. I mean, we got plenty of money to buy food, and that's one of the limiting factors in the early game is potential for starvation. Level 2, great. So, I think what we need most is dodge and alertness. So, this will increase 3d4. I believe the average of that is 6. This is the maximum, so the average increase would be 20, which is 200 maximum. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, went ahead and hit maximum, that's fine. Let's go do dodge. Now, my other picks here would be, at this point in the game, climbing and first aid. We want to get them up to 50. It also looks like we need to get swimming, which I know how to get swimming. We just have to give a bottle of carrot juice to the baby water dragon before we tell his mother where he is. And he will teach us swimming. So, first aid. Or climbing. Let's do climbing first. Then first aid. Okay, now what next? Maybe literacy. I mean, don't get me wrong, detect item status is very useful. Praising has some limited use too. Detect item status is basically worthless later in the game because then you have other ways to identify your item status, but at this point it's useful. I also think our character just trains it slowly by walking around with items in his inventory, so yeah, let's do literacy. Is that clay? Oh good! We can create a homunculus, which is a type of golem. I like the knowledge to create quasi-life form through the use of white necromancy. Really? I guess there's a minimum score on necromancy that we need. So I may actually increase necromancy too. Always open doors from the corner because you never know when one is going to have a trap that fires directly outwards. There are some traps that fire in a circle around the doors. There's no way to dodge that, but if it's going to fall at an angle, you can avoid it. We should actually be training our thrown rocks here so that we can work on a little bit of distance combat. Oh, we can't even hit stupid kobold. Oh, I didn't mean to kill him. I was going to grind more arrows out of him. Dang it. Oh well, he dropped 41. That's fine. For 14. Whatevs. throwing rocks. Eat a goblin. Practice throwing rocks. Get some more rocks, hopefully. There we go. This will also help train our strength because we'll have lots of rocks to weigh us down. Oh wow. Never thought I'd see the day I was running away from a rat. Gotta go find somewhere to heal. Oh, we just found a secret door. That's cool. Handy. Well, let's check out what's on the other side of this door. See that little good note next to it? That means our appraisal skill says that it's a good rock. 3. I actually want to try to get necromancy up. See if we can go ahead and make that go on. Okay, 6th Sense more easily evades traps. Or Miser. I think we'll take 6th Sense at this point, because traps could be so lethal. And I want to see something. What talents did I take with this character during character creation? Okay, so I have quick, very quick, and grease lightning. So I've already got all the speed buffs. That's cool. Long stride, grease lightning, alert, quick, very quick. And I got all this during character creation because Mist Elves start with a lot of talents. It's pretty cool. I'll try necromancy again. The lump of clay dissolves. Let's try again. Lump of clay dissolves. Is it draining our mana? I think it is. Got some quarrels, eat an orc. Don't want to accidentally get mana sickness, which is where you deplete your mana below 0, and then a little while later you take stat penalties because of it. Permanent stat penalties. Have a larger stack of rocks than that? Yeah, there we go. I don't know if that's possible with necromancy or not. Let's try to get some arrows out of this guy. first aid a little bit by stopping our bleeding. And he's not going to fire any more arrows, so he dies. It's bad when even the starter dungeon is suspenseful. Oh my, it's already 35 minutes in this recording, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here. We're down in the ever so dangerous starter dungeon, at least for our Mist Elf Merchant. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed, please do that. I'd also suggest you check out ADOM Grzib, however you pronounce it, excuse me, channel, and see him running his Hearthling Farmer. See if he can outdo the one I just finished running. Thank you very much, and catch you later.